Coming up, 4 people arrested and others detained during a SWAT raid in Fargo this morning. We are learning more about Bitzero's plan for crypto mining in North Dakota, how they plan to use an old military installation. And North Dakota health officials say a new COVID-19 vaccine will soon be available in the state. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a one-on-one conversation with a father who says a Fargo firefighter physically assaulted his son. The father says it happened after their family dog relieved itself on the firefighter's property next door. But first tonight, Fargo police are investigating after 4 people were arrested this morning in a SWAT raid that happened around 6 o'clock this morning at a home in the 900 block of 5th Street South. The Cass County Drug Task Force was also involved in what they're calling a high-risk knock-and-announce search warrant. 6 people were detained at the scene for questioning. The 2 men and 2 women arrested are now all facing drug charges. Fargo police are alerting the public of a text message scam happening in the city. Concerned residents have contacted the department about a text message they received from an unknown number. The message claims a loved one has been kidnapped and demands to have money transferred in exchange for their release. The message has been accompanied with a photo of a female who appears to be tied up, followed by a photo of a gun. Officers say this is a scam and not to respond. Well, there could be changes in Fargo after all when it comes to noise downtown and food trucks and vendors. The Fargo City Commission has moved to look into considering stricter noise ordinances for food carts and street performers in the downtown area. Fargo Police Captain Chris Helmick says a goal is to reduce the noise level, especially after 10 o'clock at night. More public debate on the issue is now set for August 3rd. Crypto mining company Bitzero has agreed to put roughly $500 million into developing an old military installation in northeast North Dakota into a highly secure data center. That's the word from Governor Doug Burgum. Bitzero will purchase the Stanley R. Mickelson Safeguard Complex in Tacoma. In June, Bitzero announced it had selected North Dakota for its headquarters and hub for its North American operations. The company said it plans to build 200 megawatts of data centers here in the state. Governor Burgum is pressing the federal government to expedite the review of the group behind a corn milling plant in Grand Forks. In a letter sent to U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, Burgum asked the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States to speed things up when it comes to Fufang Group's purchase of the land. The request comes amid concern of Fufang's ties to the Chinese Communist Party and the milling plant's proximity to the Grand Forks Air Force Base. Looking ahead to the legislative session this coming January in Bismarck, Governor Burgum says he's happy with where the state is financially.
The state of North Dakota has never been in a better financial situation than it is right now, with our reserves and with our income and with the strong commodity prices both in agriculture and energy. And so it's going to give us an opportunity to make some really strategic investments to the future.
Governor Burgum says the expansion of the carbon capture industry in the state, along with upwards of $30 billion of private investment into North Dakota, will only strengthen the state as we move into the future. North Dakota is set to make available doses of what's described as a new type of COVID-19 vaccine. Novavax will be available later this week. The state health department says it has received 7,800 doses. We're told Novavax is made with technology used for more than 30 years in the United States and vaccines for influenza, hepatitis B, and whooping cough. Health officials in Minnesota say there are 20 cases of monkeypox statewide. The State Department of Health confirmed the cases yesterday, up 1 since Friday. Officials say case numbers are expected to rise. The World Health Organization has declared monkeypox a global public health emergency. Early voting is underway for Minnesota's August 9th primary election. One hotly contested statewide race is the Republican primary for Attorney General. Attorneys Jim Schultz and Doug Wardlow are facing off in the contest, with Schultz earning the party's endorsement in the state convention. Also in Congressional District 5, Democrat Ilhan Omar is being challenged by former Minneapolis City Councilman Don Samuels. And Minnesota is reporting the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. A state official says the 1.8% unemployment rate means businesses are hiring and says workers have a shot at better wages. But The official also says the labor force in Minnesota is smaller than it was before COVID-19. The official says 72,000 people never went back to work after the virus first started spreading. Well, if you appreciate and enjoy the Nightly Review as a great source of news and information for all that is happening in the FM Metro, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell button below. We're now closing in on 100 subscribers, and we certainly appreciate your support. Weather-wise, relatively cool temperatures expected tonight after a cool day for late July. Let's get the latest now from meteorologist Justin Storm in the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through the remainder of this evening into the overnight hours, an isolated shower will be possible, although most locations will remain dry through the rest of today and tonight. We'll see temperatures cooling down into the mid-50s, with wind lightening up out of the west around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Those winds will pick up on Wednesday afternoon, though, around 10 to 20, and gusting as high as 30 out of the north-northwest. Similar to today, partly sunny to partly cloudy throughout the day, with high temperatures in the mid and upper 70s. And we'll cool things down to the lower 50s Wednesday night. Now for Thursday, that wind lightens up just a bit. The sunshine will return, but it will be a little unseasonably cool with high temperatures in the lower and mid 70s.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is Fargo parent Trevor Graining, who says his 9-year-old son, Noah Walker, was recently physically assaulted by a Fargo firefighter. Graining says it happened after the boy's dog relieved itself on the firefighter's property next door. I spoke with Graining about his version of events.
Yeah, my son was walking our dog, Honey, who is a 10-year-old lab. He went to the bathroom on his boulevard. At that time, the neighbor had come out, started screaming at my son. At that point, he came out, yelled at him, told him to pick up the bathroom stuff. At that point, he told him I didn't have a plastic bag. He had to go home and get one. That angered him. I don't know why. At that point, he pushed our dog into our son. At point in that conversation, that he ended up open-handed slapping our son in the face, right across the side of the face. Caused him to fall. He came home crying at that point. He was really distraught and upset. My wife had asked what happened. He had told us about it. At that point, we did call the Fargo police. The police showed up. They interviewed us. They interviewed Noah. They interviewed Harley, which is our 6-year-old daughter, because she was there when this happened. They went over to talk to him. He denied it happening. And at that point, this investigation was at a standstill, and we haven't really heard anything back from the police department. And that's why we were talking to you guys.
I asked Graining how his son is doing now and asked the father to describe the extent of the child's injuries.
So he had a concussion caused by the trauma that happened to his head. He has headaches. Post-concussion headaches can happen up to 3 months after the fact. We're hoping that's not the case, but he still has headaches, and this happened about a month ago.
Graining says he's not sure if the concussion was caused by the slap to the boy's head or if it was the result of the boy's head hitting the ground.
There's no way to tell. They called it from the trauma of being hit. That was in the doctor's note.
Graining says right now he's not considering any type of legal action against his neighbor, but he's expressing frustration for what he calls a lack of action by the police department.
Right now, we've been in contact with the Fargo police. They haven't really given us any updates. All they say that it's a pending investigation. From my knowledge, it hasn't even been given to a detective at this point. They're just I haven't really seen any movement. They have the same doctor's notes I've given you guys. They have our statements, everybody else's statements. So not really see what's going on. And that's really what's frustrating us, because we're supposed to be able to defend our kids. And one of our mechanisms when something like this happens is to call the police. And when nothing's been going on, that's sort of our issue.
I'd like to thank Fargo parent Trevor Graining for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. Fargo Fire Chief Steve Dirksen won't comment on the allegations. However, a city spokesperson says the police department is investigating a report that was made related to the incident. We'll keep you posted on any developments in the case. Well, that will do it for this Tuesday, July 26th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.